Welcome to Miller's Monsters. The gang's all here. I'm Mr. Beelzebub. The one getting is ready for her close-up is Count Luna. Hey, there's a preview. And in the background that you can't see, let them see Edgar. There's Edgar P. Scully right in the back there. And we're going to talk about the film Ringu, 1998, and compare it a little bit to The Ring, the U.S. version, made in 2002. But always, before we get started, ring that bell, hit subscribe, hit the like button, set yourself up for notifications so you don't miss another screaming episode. And please tell your friends and leave me comments, questions. Happy to hear them all the time. And as always, that is horrible. How long can it go on? Oh boy. Okay, that's enough. There are spoilers ahead. Alright, welcome back. And we are talking Ringu, the 1998 Japanese film. And basically, if you saw The Ring, you know the plot of these two films is there's this urban legend. You know how much I like urban legends. And if you view this tape, then you will get a phone call saying you have 7 days. And if you view this tape, you will die within 7 days to the exact second, apparently. And what we have is a family, a wife that is divorced and a son. And the wife gets involved, is a reporter, and gets involved in investigating this urban legend because one of her relatives died suddenly, and the death can't be explained. And she learns through the other children in her class that they saw this film. And of course, she investigates, finds out where they got the film, and ends up finding a copy of this film and watching it herself. And now she is cursed and will die in 7 days. And the peculiar thing about this curse is if you take a picture of yourself after you've watched this tape, your face is distorted. So that's how you know you've been cursed. And so then the middle part of the film is the reporter and her ex searching for the answer to try and save the wife, basically, before her 7 days are up. And in the Ringu version, it's more of the ex is a professor, and he does, hey, don't hog the spotlight, and he does most of the investigating, and turns up the origin of this tape. And through the tape they find out who the lady is. And she, in this case, what you just sat on that and scrolled all my words. We're free balling it right now. She finds out the origin of the tape, which turns out to be, in the Ringu version, turns out to be the mother was a psychic, and her daughter was an even more of a psychic and could kill people by just looking at them. And so as they investigate, and the wife starts seeing visions, and at one point Sada is how I'll pronounce it, is what they see in the tape, grabs her arm, and she sees a vision of how she died. And in this case, the father hits her over the head as she's standing by a well, and she falls in the well. And eventually they realize that this well is back at the cabin where the tape was found. And they go back and discover the well underneath the cabin. And we're in the last day now, and they have to empty the water out to find the Sada. And the theory being is she just wants her story told. So after some tense moments of them trying to empty a well, and it looks like they're not going to make it, they find the wife falls into goes into the well in this version, and discovers Sada and her skeleton pops up, and she gives the skeleton a nice hug, and it goes past her 7 days and she's not dead. So they think the curse is broken because they found Sada and her story can be told. But in the process of the investigation, they made a copy of the tape, and the husband watched it. And further into the investigation, somehow the child, the son, got a hold of this tape and has watched it as well. And so now all three are on the clock, and the husband has 1 day after the wife, and the son has a couple more days after that. So they think the curse is broken. Everybody goes back, and they think they're going to live happily ever after, until the next day when they find out that the husband has died. And this is where we see the classic scene of the girl coming out of the well, walking towards the television set, and then coming outside. If I could just come outside, but I'm kind of stuck. Hello, I can't get through. There's a glass here. Anyways, she was able to reach through the TV and come to life and scare the husband to death, which is the way she disposes of her victims. And obviously now the wife is frantic. She's like, what did I do? Why did I survive? And he didn't. And how am I going to save my child? And she comes to the realization is the reason she was saved is because she made a copy of the tape and showed it to someone else within 7 days. So that is the way to break the curse. And at the end of the movie, we see, the son has now made a copy to the tape of the tape, and they are taking it to show somebody else to save his life. And he's wondering what's going to happen to that person that views the tape. And that's where it ends. Now, to compare this to 2002, The Ring, the US version, is very similar in the beginning and the end. What's different is the middle, how they tell the story of this video, and in this case, the wife is more the investigative person than the ex. He's a videographer, okay? And again, he sees a copy of the tape, so he's on the clock as well. He doesn't believe her at first, and then all of a sudden he sees a picture with his face twisted, and then he's all in. I'm trying to help now. He wasn't in before. And then the story of the tape itself. In Ringu, the child was the daughter of this very powerful psychic, and she had the power to kill somebody, scare him to death basically, just by looking at him. In the US version, Samara, they call her, had that ability as well, but she was adopted. So for some reason, she had this power from where she came. We don't know, I can't remember exactly where, but she was adopted to the parents who couldn't have a child, and had a horse farm, and raised a bunch of horses. And as soon as Samara showed up, the horses started going crazy. The wife was seeing visions, and the husband really didn't want the child around, and isolated her up in the barn. And eventually the child disappeared, and this island community was a lot better off without her, as said by the town doctor. And also the difference in the American version is, in this case, the mother killed the child. Hey, you're in my spot again. Come on, man. Give me a break. Putting a bag over the child's head, and then disposing her in the well. And again, the ending's the same. It ends up that the wife ends up in the well, finds Samara, and they think the curse is lifted because her story's been told. The ex dies, and in the end, the tape, it was made a copy of the tape and was going to go take it to show somebody else, and ended the same way. Besides the different of the stories, they're both very good movies. Comparing the two, I have to give the nod to the US version because it was a little more intense with the use of Samara in the film. You don't really see Samara till the end in the Japanese version. There's a little more goriness to it, the faces, there's a little more blood on the faces, and things like that. But both are very intriguing films. It's worth to watch both of them. The Japanese one is subtitled, so you got to be able to read the subtitles and pay attention to the movie at the same time, and just notice the subtle differences. Obviously, the U.S. version was made later, so they had that benefit to them. They were able to tweak the original story a little bit, but both are worth a watch. The nod goes to The Ring because it's a little more gory, and they got a little more involved with the backstory of Samara, and you know, and the effects it had on the townsfolk there. So I'd give them both a solid 3, and I hope you enjoyed this. Hit the bell, subscribe, hit like, set yourself for notifications so you don't miss another spine-tingling episode. Share it with your friends, and hug your skeleton, because in Ringu, that's what they do. I'm wrecking the place for you guys. You better hear it. Oh, I almost forgot. I do give the Japanese version one nod because, you know, they both ended up hugging the skeleton at the end, and that seemed, it's okay. Your story's being told now. Everything's going to be okay now, and they think that ended the curse. But in the Japanese version, the ooze running out of the skeleton's eyes, okay, was a plus over the U.S. version. So I had to give him a nod for that. So, hi. There's Froggy again, and I will talk to you next time.